All right, here, let me show you. Got the AC blowing full blast in here in the gun room, and as you can see, it's in the 80s. So once I turn that AC off so you can hear me talk, I'm gonna cut the video short when it starts getting hot, and it's already hot. So there you have it. Hey there, folks. How you doing today? Welcome back to the channel, and please bear with the sound of any background racket that you might hear throughout today's production. I did just turn off that air conditioner, and it already feels warmer in here. I showed that little clip at the beginning showing that even with it going full blast out here in the studio, it's still hot. We're not going to let that stand in the way of having some fun today. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with our unfiltered fans only content, this is a segment that I do every now and then. And while all are welcome to stay and enjoy the program, I do this specifically for that handful of guys that stick around faithfully and watch all the garbage that we produce here on this channel. You know who you are. I salute you. Now, with that being said, I looked back and turns out it was mid-March last time I did one of these. I used to try to do one every month or two, but things have been hectic these past few months, and I do good to put out any content of substance around here anymore. So, long story short, I've been on leave this week. My wife has some medical stuff that we've been tending to, and today was one of the days. In fact, so far it's been the only day that I really had some downtime and the weather wasn't just terrible. So I went ahead and I came out here early this morning to the studio and I started going through all the stuff that you see on the wall behind me here, as well as all the stuff that I don't show you that's tucked into corners and on shelves. It was a huge mess. It took me the better part of the morning to clean all of those platforms that you see up there on the wall, but they've all been cleaned. They all have dry lube on them and that now. There was a little bit of flash rust on a couple of screws here or there, nothing major, but I got those cleaned up, intended to. And with the exception of all the junk out here on the table in front of me, I'm done. I actually left all this up here on purpose so I could show you some of the cool stuff I found while I was cleaning my shop today. Now, for starters, and this is just going to be the ramblings of a madman, and it's not going to be in any particular order, but I will try to sit some of the stuff off to the side after I show it to you so that we can move past it and I can remember, no, I already talked about that. Over here on this side, we'll start on this side. This little box here contains all of the accessories to the Panzer AR-12 that used to hang back there on the wall. Now, a fella that I work with had asked me about those. He said, I have been thinking about getting one of these. And he asked me what I thought about them. So I told him, well, you got to kind of be careful with those Turkish made imports. Some of them are better than others. I told him that I had had good luck with that 4th generation Panzer and that it was nice and broken in and had a good optic on it and everything, and that I was pleased with it. So he took a look at it. And what was it that Marlon Brando said?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Well, anyway, it's been gone since about Father's Day, and I knew I had this stuff somewhere. I didn't know where it was when I found it, so I got to get that over there to him. So I'm going to set that down out of our way now. Glaring over here in the back behind that is a brand new Otis Smart Gun Care breech to muzzle gun cleaning kit. This is their elite kit. I have no idea what it sells for, but the folks over at Otis sent that out to me, as well as a whole bunch of other cleaning supplies about a year or so ago. They reached out to me via email and said, hey, we've been following your channel. We like what you're doing. We would like to send you some of our stuff as a token of our gratitude. You don't have to talk about it on your channel. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm humbled by it. The fact that they sent it to me, and the fact that other companies send me stuff that I can present and show to y'all really does help keep the lights on around here. So I brought that up on purpose because there have been a few of you that have gotten annoyed with the little segment that I put at the very end of all my videos where I reach out to you and I ask you, hey, go down to the pinned comment, because that's the only way we can do it in this platform, and check out my personalized little thing that I got on there, because the company that is involved with that has said that that is the only way they can show traffic from the stuff that they've been sending me. And I have to be careful how I say it because, the thought police are always watching. But anyway, it's a small thing to ask for, but some of you have been annoyed by it. So please understand the reason why I do that, and the reason why I point out stuff like this Otis kit is because they're good enough to send us stuff that otherwise I wouldn't be presenting to you, because my pockets don't run as deep as it would take in order to do that on my own. So just bear with the fact that occasionally we show off a product. Now, with that being said, I've also been accused a few times, actually a couple of times here recently, of being a shill for some of these companies. And I wag my finger at you for that one because, let's face it, if somebody sends out a product to me and I don't appreciate the product at the end of the review, I let y'all know. I have talked down on several things in the recent past that, I just don't think it's that great. I wouldn't spend my money on it. It's kind of funny because I want to choose my words carefully so as not to offend any delicate flowers out there. But there are some of the folks that take the moral high road of saying, well, that was made in the PRC. I don't want anything to do with it. The television or the smartphone that you are watching this video on was probably made in the PRC or in Vietnam or somewhere where they commit human atrocities, so on and so forth. So while I appreciate your soapbox position on it, realistically, folks, there is so much stuff that's made places other than here that I challenge you to live your life without it if it really bothers you that much. But on that note, a couple of the items that I have shown you on here in reviews in the past that came from that part of the world have held up pretty good. And there were a couple of them that I wanted to point out. And one of them is this. Well, I'll put up the thumbnail there, as well as I'll put the link down in the description of this. There wasn't a whole lot of people that saw the review that I did on this Claris flashlight. I don't even remember how long ago it was. At least a year ago that I did the review for this thing. Right after I made the review, I chucked this in the center console of my wife's minivan. Well, October of last year, I gave the minivan. Let me back up a little bit. October of this last year, I bought a little black Mercedes from a friend of mine, and my wife's been driving that, so the minivan had kind of gone to what my kid was taking to college. This flashlight was in the center console, forgotten about from October of last year until this past week. This past week, we parted ways with the minivan, so I went through it and I cleaned it out, and down in the bottom of it, I found this flashlight. So the first thing I did was pick it up and check and see if it still worked. So not only was it still incredibly bright, it still had a charge. I mean, it just, Texas heat, just being forgotten about. At least the batteries have held up well. The switches on this thing are amazing. They really do work well. You can manipulate it as to turn the light down to where it's car key finding mode if you drop them on the ground at night or something. But it's a bright tactical flashlight. It's a little big for what I want to carry around with me at work. I am a big fan of like the Surefire 6P size lights, and this one's a little bigger than that. But for a good all-around tactical flashlight, it's been pretty good. Now, while I was cleaning the shop, I found the brand new, I don't remember if I took it out and mounted it on anything or not, but I put it right back in the box afterwards. The tail switch and the pressure switch that goes with it if you wanted to mount it on something like that. So enough about that. The Claris flashlight still works after sitting in a car for nearly a year. So moving on. Another one of those products was this Brynite Scorpion light, which mounts on a tactical rail, and it's kind of got a peculiar profile. And it would have to fit a specific setup. You know, you'd have to have something set up in a certain way that you were able to work around the kind of goofy setup on it. But it also is still really, really bright. Now, I played with it when I dug it out. It was actually back here on the wall, but I hadn't touched it in months. The batteries were still mostly full on it. I played with it for about a half an hour, and I noticed that it dumbed down just a little bit. So I dug out the charger for it and charged it up, and now it's good to go again. And that's going to segue into this portion over here. I have talked about recently in videos the boxes that some of this stuff come in, and how some of them have really nice packaging, but the packaging is kind of irrelevant to me because I don't usually put the items back in the packaging. Well, this would be an exception to that rule, I guess you'd say, because inside this, I didn't have the light in there, but I do have the very unique little magnetic charger that goes with it in the package. And I remembered that I had put it back in the package because I didn't want to lose it. So I did keep the box. The box is kind of small and doesn't take up a lot of real estate here in the shop. But I had put it back in there so that I could keep track of it. So now, with that in mind, I'm going to set that over here so that I know that we're done with it. With that in mind, I've got a bunch of these other boxes up here that came from stuff that we've reviewed in the recent past. This was the, help me out here, Siley, is it? Kylie, however you pronounce it, the ghost optic that I have mounted on my dagger. No, I have it mounted on the BCA Grizzly. I'll probably never put it back in that box. I'm going to get rid of that box. Here's the box to that Clarius XT111 GT Pro flashlight. I wrote that on the back for when I did the review. I still have the box. We're going to talk about that and this here in just a minute. Over here, I've got a box to one of the Gowutar optics. Let's see, this was the Red Dot HHC17. This is what is currently mounted on, it's up there on my Canik Mate MC9. Here's that box to the Dalbanal Noctua R that I have mounted presently on the Sub 2000. Here's that Feiachi optic that I remember when I did the review on this, I talked about what a cool little box that it came with. And when you have a little box like that, you almost feel guilty throwing it away. But really, am I ever going to put that optic that I have mounted on a gun back in the box? Probably not, but I might use that box for something else. And here's another one of those Gowutar boxes, and I don't even have that optic anymore. So why do I still have the box? I need to work on that. I need to throw some stuff away. There's the packaging from that rail that we mounted on that very unique little Marlin Trapper a couple of months ago. This actually has the original, well, they weren't the original. Somebody had already installed some different sights on that thing, I think, but the sights that were on it before, they were in there. I need to give that back to the guy that the gun belongs to. This box, I had to look inside it to see what it went to. It's that CV Life optic that we have mounted on the Ruger American Gen 2 up there. I'm going to throw that box away. I did take the instructions as well as the little lens cleaning cloth out of it, and I'll keep those in the box where I keep instructions to stuff at. But that's all stuff that I really didn't need to leave. Didn't need to have or keep. So I'm going to get rid of all that. Found something else. This one I have to tell on myself. I had purchased a Vortec Viper rifle scope a while back. I had a really good coupon. It was like a Black Friday coupon a couple of years ago. I couldn't remember if I wanted the scope with the 44 millimeter objective or if I wanted one with a 50. I think one of them was like a 4-14 by 44 and the other one was like a 6-24 by 50. And I finally decided on the smaller one because it was going on a hunting rifle. Well, I had both sets in the cart, and you had to purchase the sunshade separately from the scope. So I made a mistake, and I purchased the 50 millimeter sunshade with a scope that had a 44 millimeter objective. So I didn't realize it right away. It was like a year or so later, I actually looked at it and was like, oh man, I got the wrong thing. So at that point, I'm not going to return that because it was my mistake in the first place. And I've had their stuff for a long time. So I have this. It is brand new. I'll throw up a little video here so you can see it. If one of you has a rifle scope that will fit, and you don't have a sunshade for it and you need one, or you had a sunshade but you bent it or something, or you lost it, reach out to me. As long as you're in the United States, I'd like to send that to you. Okay, so what else do we have out here? We got some other cool stuff. Speaking of other things that we've tested in the past that still work quite well, here's this little Crimson Trace Horizon Line Pro, I think it is, or something like that, 2,000 yard rangefinder. This thing actually still works pretty good. I took it out and was playing with it a few minutes ago, and it's still on the original battery. I'm not going to give that to anybody because I'm actually planning on using it this hunting season. Other stuff that I have that, let's see. The Wolo Vivo sight pusher tool that we did the review on a couple of, was it a month or so ago? I don't remember. I've slept since then. I was not impressed with that tool, and it would not function for what I had purchased it for, which was to change out the sights on that XD. I boogered that thing up way too bad to return it. I got heavy-handed with it because I needed to in order to accomplish the mission. I was not satisfied with the amount of effort that I had to put into it to make it work for what I was going to use it for. If you want to see that in depth, you can go see that unmonetized video. The Thought Police said I couldn't make my $15 off of that one, so there's that. I'm not the kind of fellow that's going to return that to the person that I purchased it from because I was dissatisfied with it after I boogered it up the way I did. It just, I can't do that. So I'm going to keep it, and I'll probably use it, and it'll probably work for some things. One of the things that it'll probably work for will be an upcoming project that we have, which is to show a little love to my loyal EDC pistol. I'll show you a close-up here. This thing is cringe. It shouldn't be like that. I'm going to, in the very near future, mount this set of sights on it that was sent to me by the folks over at XS in Fort Worth, Texas. If you're not familiar with XS sights, I've done a ton of reviews on their stuff here on the channel. They're one of the companies that I've been accused of being a shill for. Maybe I am. Their stuff is actually pretty good. I would put their sights up against anybody else's. I've purchased Ameriglow, I've purchased TrueGlow, I've purchased Trigicon sights in the past that, with my own money, as well as I've bought some of XS's stuff in the past with my own money. And for what you get, theirs is brighter and robust and fit like they're quality machined. And I can't say enough good things about them. So check out XS, show them some love. Let's see, what else? Look at this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 Glock 19 or Glock 9mm magazines that I found emptying out boxes and bags and stuff that I had out here in the studio. I knew I had them, and I probably could have went and found half of them. But look, I found all of those, as well as this one, and this thing is just absolutely ridiculous. I think I've shown it in a video or two in the past. I can't make a YouTube video about this because somebody with purple hair would just absolutely freak out about it. So I'm not even going to tell you what it is, but that's a really cool magazine for if you're doing something like plinking around at the range or something like that. I found this box of unassuming Remington UMC 9mm ammunition, and I could feel and tell that it was a partial box, but instead of just tossing it to the side and saying, that's Remington UMC, that's just crap range ammo, I'll use it someday out at the range or whatever, I actually opened it up to see what was inside of it, and glad I did. Over here on this end, I had 15 rounds of Remington UMC, but on this side, I have 10 rounds of Winchester Ranger with a 2019 head stamp. This stuff is really cool. That's good EDC ammo there. So that was a surprise. I forgot that I had those. It was like a little gift to me for cleaning my room. I found a hammer. I don't have any idea what that came off of. Hopefully it's not something that I think has a hammer in it. No, I think that was an old mil-spec hammer that I changed out for something a little higher speed for somebody. Found two, what are these, 20 round CZ Scorpion magazines. Folks, these were still new. They were in a box of stuff that came with that CZ Scorpion. Never used them, so it's actually kind of sad. You know, they're factory magazines, probably better than some of the ones that I had over there in the box. All right, what else? Oh, I found this cool little pocket knife that I had that it's an assisted opening knife. Funny story with this one. I was at the flea market with my daughter, and we were at a shop where there's an old guy, a retired deputy, that sharpens pocket knives for $2 a piece. And I take him my pocket knives to sharpen, to humor him, and also I'll take the kitchen knives, the butcher knives and stuff over there to him. And he sells a lot of secondhand knives that he finds at the flea market, and he sharpens them, cleans them up, puts them for sale there in his little shop. And my daughter finds this tiny little pocket knife, and she tells me, she says, "Hey Dad, can I have that?" She's old enough now that I trust her with a knife, but I didn't look real close at the knife that she was after. Well, this is a spring assisted knife, and let me tell you what, it is frightening how fast this thing pops out, and it is just razor sharp. So after we got home and I saw her playing with it, I had to go into dad mode, and I had to tell her, you know what, I'm going to let you have it back, but not yet. You're too young. So I'll hold on to that until probably about the time she's driving, and then I'll give it to her. What else did I find when I was cleaning my room? I found this little flashlight. This is a Crimson Trace. I don't know how many lumens it is. It's a little pressure switch activated weapon mounted light that came on something that I traded for at one point in time. I remember that it had a little plastic bushing that allowed you to mount it in a 1-inch light mount without a little plastic bushing or a piece of a nylon strap or some quality cardboard or something. This would not fit properly in a standard 1-inch light mount. I don't know how many lumens it is. It takes one CR123 battery. This is the one that was in it already. As you can see, it's just not super bright. Let me see if I don't have one of those down here in my desk drawer. I think I do. Yep, here we go. I've got some brand new Energizer ones. I'm actually going to, for science, swap out the battery and see if that makes a difference with this little light. It could just be that that old battery is really old. It might have a better light output when I'm done. Let's see. As a reminder, that is the before, and I will post the side by side when I actually edit this video so you can see the before and after on it. There we go. Oh yeah, that puts out a lot more. That's probably 500 lumens. That's a pretty good little light. I'm actually going to give this to a viewer. There's actually a kid that I met at the range. I say kid, a young guy in his 20s. Logan Cooley. I met him at the range down here several months ago, and I told him I was going to send him some stuff. I'm going to rig this up inside a proper fitting bushing so that it'll fit inside a light mount. I'm going to give that to Logan, as well as some other stuff that I dug out when I was cleaning the shop here. So Logan, you got that coming to you. Sorry it took me so long to get back with you. Let's see, what else did I find? Oh yeah, I found this. I had to laugh about it. This, folks, is a past recoil pad. This is the thickest one they make. This is for real wusses right here. I bought this thing years ago to do some load development for my 375 H&H. Now I have that Caldwell lead sled, so I just use that anymore. Another thing that I found when I was cleaning out my stuff here a while back was this pair of Oakley M-frame sunglasses. These were actually government issue way back in the day, 17, 18 years ago, and I still have them, and they're still really nice. I kept them on the side pocket of my range bag just in case I didn't have my other shades with me when I went to the range or something like that. So, you know, that was a score too. Another thing that I found, wasn't proud of this one. I had started a series on rolling your own. I'm not going to say the word on here because it will demonetize this video if I do. But for folks that know what I'm talking about, I inadvertently stuck this sucker. This is a 30-06 casing. I was loading for 30-06 that day, but the die that I had in my press was a 308 die, and I didn't realize it. And I shoved that first round down in there and just completely ruined a brand new piece of brass with a primer in it and everything else. I've kept it as a reminder to pay attention to what I'm doing. Something else that I found when I was cleaning up is a couple of little brass crimped, I think these were Winchester. Yeah, Winchester Super X rat shot, snake shot. Had a couple of those and a couple of 22 long rifle rounds. Guaranteed I took those out of a single action 22 revolver. I keep one loaded up with snake shot for snakes right here on the property. As a matter of fact, like about a month ago, I had to put down a water moccasin that had found his way into an old stump out in our backyard after we pretty much had a flood. There was running water across the ground out here after one of the heavy rains, and he got washed out of one of these ponds back here, and he wasn't happy about it. So had to deal with him. You know, it's him or the kids, and we know how that's going to go. So I'm going to use these. I'm going to go clean up my 22 revolver, and I'm going to stick those in it here after I finish filming this video. I also found this thing. I have no idea what it is. It appears to be like a sight adjustment tool. I don't know. I'll put a close-up so you can see it. You tell me what that is. I don't know. Otherwise, that's kind of it for, you know, what I had planned to talk to you about here today. The one thing that I didn't mention when I had my SIG P 365 out of my pocket earlier is I'm going to mount that new set of sights that XS sent to me, and I went off on that tangent. Before I do that, I don't know if you could see it in the little video I did there. I'll put a couple of close-ups so you can see it. The Cerakote finish on that has failed, as well as the frame is in really bad shape. Aesthetically, it's still completely functional, but it has a lot of wear marks on it because I've literally carried that pistol on almost a daily basis for years now. And I'm going to take it apart, sandblast it, and re-Cerakote it. And my question to y'all, I'll let me know down in the comment section, and I will go with the majority vote on it. Do I go back with the bronze color that it was before, that kind of coppery looking flat dark earth, and just kind of clean up the frame that's on it? Or should I do it in some other color? And should I keep the frame, or should I put it in one of those Wilson Combat aftermarket frames that they make? I was kind of thinking about maybe doing that. So I'll let y'all decide. Whatever you decide on down below. Maybe I'll put a poll on the community page here on the Tube of You. I'll let y'all decide, and I'll get the stuff here pretty soon and do that, because XS sent me those sights for that express purpose, and they've been on the back burner for the last couple of months now. Wow. I don't know how long this video is. One thing about these UFO videos is I really don't edit much out. I kind of leave them warts and all. So this is going to be a long video as it is, so I'm going to cut it off for now. But hopefully I entertained somebody with some of this carrying on. Again, let me know if you need that. I'd be happy to send it to you. Also, the Claris light, I'm probably going to do a giveaway here pretty soon. We're getting close to 9,000 subscribers. I'm thinking by the end of summer we might be at 10 because we've been climbing a little bit faster than we had there for a while. So when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away some stuff. And I think this light is going to be one of those things because it really is a good light. And I'd like to share it with somebody else because obviously it was tucked away in a minivan for the past year, so I'm not using it myself. So I'd like to see somebody get some good use out of it. That's all I've got for now. That little thing I talked about earlier with the Bear Creek, I'm going to go ahead and play it here at the end of the video so that those of you that haven't seen that and don't know what I'm talking about will know what it is. After that's over, go finish doing whatever it was you were doing, and until next time, take care, folks, and God bless. Hey there, folks. Thanks for watching today's production. Before you leave, let me ask you for just a moment of your time. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm not asking for anything directly from you other than a few more moments of your time. If you look out here on the table in front of me, you'll see the Bear Creek BC 10 millimeter. There's several of you that have seen the review that we did on this platform here on the channel. You might also recall the review we did on the BC Grizzly, and also we've reviewed a couple of their other products that they have sent out to us for the purpose of review. Now, last time I spoke to the folks over there at Bear Creek, they said in order to keep sending stuff free gratis for us to review on this platform, they're going to need to show that they're getting traffic to their point of interest from this platform. And in order to do that, I need y'all to jump down to the pinned comment on this video. Check out that link that is right there. Just go over to their website, and by clicking on it and checking it out, it'll show that people are watching what I'm putting down over here and they are following up on it. I'm not asking you to buy anything. You don't have to buy anything, but it'll just show the folks over at Bear Creek that their investment in advertising dollars is well spent. If you do that for me, I'd appreciate it. I would consider it a personal favor. And until next time, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.